Hello everyone, good to see you this week. Hope you're doing well. For this lesson, we're going to be looking at everything related to numbers. I know some of my students, whenever they come across a number, it's a bit of a struggle for them, especially if it's a large number or maybe it's a year. It's a price, it's a currency, it's even telling the time sometimes. So I thought it would be a good idea to combine these, put them in a lesson for you guys so that we can once and for all stop worrying about saying big numbers. Okay? So let's get started. Make sure you have subscribed and give this video a thumbs up and share this video with any of your friends that you think might benefit from this. All right, let's get started. How to pronounce large numbers. So first tip I want to give you guys is when you see a comma, count it before you say the number. This will help you to figure out if it's in the thousands or if it's in the millions or if it's in the billions. What do I mean by this? So 1 comma means thousands. So if you see 1 comma, you know that it's still in the thousands. 2 commas means millions. So if you see 2 commas, it's going to be in the millions. And if you see 3, like we've got here, it's in the billions. All right? So how would we say these numbers? Feel free to write in the live chat how you think we would say them. And I'm going to share with you another tip in the next slide on how you can say these numbers if you're not 100% sure. Let's say you have a presentation, you've got a report that you need to talk about with your boss, and you're not sure how to say these big figures, these big numbers. You can use this tip that I'm going to show you in the next slide. Okay. So here we've got a link and I will put it for you in the description box as well below for you to check it out at the end of the lesson. This is a numbers to words converter. So it's basically a calculator to convert the numbers that you enter in here into words. Okay, so check out this website if you ever feel stuck and you're not sure how to pronounce a number. All right, now let's go back to those numbers and pronounce these large numbers together. So the first one, we've got 1 comma, so we know it's in the thousands. We're going to divide it up depending on the comma. So the comma is here, so we're gonna put this part to the left on its own and this part to the right on its own. So we're gonna pronounce them separately. So here we've got 1 digit, so it's 7. Then we've got the comma, so 7,000. Then we're going to pronounce this digit all together, these 3 digits together, so it's in the hundreds. So it's 7,398. Now, at the end, the last 2 digits, you can say end 98 or you can omit the end. You don't have to pronounce it. Next one that we've got, 18,934. So again, we're going to divide it where the comma is. The first 2 digits on the left, so 18,934. The next one that we've got, so again, it's in the thousands. Let's divide it up. 3 digits here, so it's in the hundreds. 3 digits here, again in the hundreds. So 291,906. Next one, we got 2 commas, and 2 commas means millions. So 16,837,335, right? So it goes from million to 1,000. Here, it goes from billion to million to 1,000, right? And the same thing happens with each one. The comma divides up the numbers. So it lumps the numbers together and we pronounce the numbers as one big number. So here, the 2 numbers combined is 16. Here, the 3 numbers combined is 837. Here, 16,335. So the first comma is for the million. So 16,837,335. Here, we're going to do the same thing. We're dividing up the numbers by the commas. So the first number, it's one digit, so it's 2 billion, because this is the third comma. Here, 394 million, 834,937. If you've got any questions, pop it into the live chat. I will be happy to help you guys with it. But I think now you guys will be able to start to understand this a bit more clearly, right? So just make sure that you're dividing up those numbers depending on where the comma is and using the commas to guide you on whether it's thousands, millions, or billions. All right. When talking about price, so this is really important, especially if you're talking about sales or you're talking about the value of something. You really want to make sure that you're saying things correctly and that you're confident when you're saying them. So a tip in English, the decimal or the point is used for cents. I know in some other countries and some other languages, the point is used as a divider, like we would use the comma for thousands and millions, but that's not the case in English. Okay, so just make sure that you pay attention to this. So the first one here, we've got the decimal. So the decimal divides between the dollar and the cents. So in English, the decimal is used for cents, while the comma is used for thousands, millions, etc. All right, so here again we have 30 cents because we've got the decimal. Here it's in the thousands, so 1,300, 20,604, and make sure we put that dollar at the end. Sometimes when some of my students are reading things, they forget to put the dollar, they forget to say the dollar, so make sure you use the currency that's there. And we're going to cover currencies later on in the lesson. All right, so how would we say these? When talking about price, how would we say these? Let's have a look. $50.45, $104.30. So as you can see here, now the decimal is the divider. So we say this part as one digit, so 50. And then this part here is a completely different digit, 45. So this is $50.45. Same thing here, the decimal is dividing up the numbers. So we're going to pronounce the first three digits as one. So 104. 104 what? Dollars. And 30 cents. Okay? So once you start dividing up the numbers, whether it's through a comma or through a decimal, it really helps. It helps you to start to understand how to pronounce them correctly. And it makes it easier for you to process the number. Not so overwhelming and scary. All right, we've got the next one here. We've got one on its own and then it's divided. So we've got here a comma. 1 comma equals 1,000. So $1,300. There's no cents here. So it's just $1,300. Next one, really big number. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide it up. We know that it's in the thousands here because of the comma. Then we know that it's in the cents here because there's a decimal. So $20,604.90. All right, so the first part is this part here, $20,604. Then we've got 90 cents. Next one, we've got 2 commas. 2 commas is millions. So $33,604,840. All right, so there you go. There's that one. At first it's a little bit challenging, but once you guys, like I said, you start to divide them up, it makes a little bit more sense and it becomes easier with every time that you try to do it. Okay? Again, if you've got any questions, let me know. All right, next one. Currencies. So many people don't know these different currencies. I guess the most common one is the dollar, and this is used in the US, this is used in Australia, New Zealand. Other countries use this sign as well. The real in Brazil uses this, but it's used to say real, so it's probably the most well-known one. When it has a U and an S at the front, it's US dollars, which is usually what we're referring to when we're talking on a global level, right? Internationally speaking, we usually use the dollar. It's the strongest currency out of them. We've got the euro, okay? So this is a very, very popular one as well, especially if you're traveling. You're gonna want to know what the euro sign looks like because in Europe, most of the countries use it. It's not too hard to remember. Just think of this as an E with two lines going across, okay? A quirky looking E. The next one here, so it's the yen, the Japanese yen. Again, it's got a Y here, so it's kind of easy for us to remember. When you see the Y, you can remember that it's yen. And then this one here, which a lot of people struggle with, they get a bit confused between the euro and the pound. So this here is the pound, all right? So these are the four most common ones that you're going to see. Dollar, euro, yen, and pound. So how would you say these, guys? Now that we know these different currencies, how would we say these? Well, the first one would be 306 euros. The second one is the pound sign, so 25 pounds. The third one is 109 yens. And the last one is $23. Okay. How to say a year. So kind of similar to when we're talking about big numbers, we divide it up. So any year before 2000, we divide the number into two parts and say the first two digits combined as one and the last two digits combined as one as well. So for example, if we take that first one, 1991. So what do we do here? We say the first two digits together, so we say 19, and we say the last two digits together, 91. So combined, it's 1991. Then any year from between 2000 and 2009, we can say 2000 and then we insert the number. So 2000, 2001, 2002, all the way up to 2009. We can do the same thing for anything after 2009. So from 2010 onwards, we could still say 2010, 2012, 2013, 14, etc. Or we can use a similar formula to the first one here, where we can use the first two digits, we can say the first two digits together, and then the last two digits together. So with this one here, we could say 2010 or 2010. So let's have a look at these. How would you guys say these in English? How would we say these years in English? Let's have a look here. How to say a year. First one, we're going to divide it up into two. 1991. Next one, 1983. Very simple, guys. Once you follow this rule, it becomes a lot easier to say years and you don't have to sit and pause and try to come up with the right way to say it. Next one, divided up into two, 1639. Now here, it's something between 2000 and 2009. So all we're going to do is we're going to say 2000 and then we're going to add the digit at the end, 2001. Next one here, it's in the 2000s, but it's over 2009. So we can say it two ways. We can either say 2017, so divide it up into two, 2017, or we can say 2017. The next one, it's before the 2000s, so we're going to divide it up into two digits, 1892. The last one, same thing. We can use either one, same as 2017 or 2017. We're going to say 2023 or 2023. All right, really important one as well, since we're in the year 2023 and you're probably going to use it quite a bit. Next one, telling the time. Okay, so with the time, there's a few different ways we can use it. There's a few different ways we can say it, but they're pretty straightforward once you get the hang of them. So let's start with the first one. So 1:05, okay? We can say 1:05 or we can say 1:05, okay? So when the big hand is after the small hand, we can say 1:05. We can say 1:08 or 8 minutes past 1. Something to note here, when it's not 5, 10, 15, 20, it's not as common for us to say 8 minutes past 1. It's probably more common for us to say 5 minutes past 1 or 1:05. But you could still say it, okay? So there's two ways to say it here. 1:10 or 10 past 1. 1:15 or 1:15. Remember, we don't say 15 past 1. We say 1:15 because it's a quarter. 1:15. We can say 1:20 or 20 past 1. Again here, 1:23 or 23 past 1. This isn't very common. We would probably stick to 1:23. And then we could say here 1:25. So once you get to 25, it's very close to the half mark, so you wouldn't necessarily say 25 past 1. You would probably just say 1:25. Next one here, we can say 1:30, or this one a lot of people make mistakes with. Some people say 1 past half. This is wrong. Or 30 past 1. This is wrong. So you want to say 1:30. Okay? 1:30, 1:30, 2:30, 8:30. This is how you would say this one here. And then the next one, 1:35 or 35 past 1. You can say 35 past 1. Once we hit the 40-minute mark, we're going to say 1:40 or 20 to 2 or 20 till 2. Okay, so we start counting backwards once we hit the 40 minutes on the clock. So 1:40 or 20 minutes to 2 or 20 minutes till 2. So if it was 3:40, it would be 20 minutes to 4. Next one here, 1:45 or we're going to use quarter to 2 or quarter till 2. So again, if it was 6:45, it would be 6:45 or quarter till 7. 1:50, we're going to say 1:50 or 10 to 2. Notice how we're saying 2 here again because it's after the 40-minute mark. 1:55 or 5 to 2. So 10 minutes to 2, 5 minutes to 2. Next one, 1:57 or 3 minutes to 2. Okay? So this one has more ways you can say the time, but it's very common in English to use it. So make sure that you do have a look at this and you try and practice it. Whenever you want to have a look at the time, try to practice the time in English by actually saying it. So like having a look at the time, okay, in your own language, you know what the time is. It's 6:45 in your language. Try to say it in English. So in English, you can say 6:45. It's 6:45 or it's 6:45. So it's a good way to practice. All right. And that's it for this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Again, it's a little bit overwhelming at first when you're looking at numbers, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard and it's super beneficial for you guys to know it because you won't feel overwhelmed. So make sure you revise this and the next time you have a presentation or a meeting, you'll be fine and you'll be able to say the numbers. Make sure to check out the links that I've put in the description box. and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next week, Tuesday, same time. Thanks, guys.